Damn, Mizzy Mari got beat.
What's happening, guys? Silent Mike checking in another Q&A. I'm going to drop some lifting footage over here, hopefully entertain your eyes while my mouth entertains your ears. Answering all your guys' questions from Instagram. Let's get after it. That's Silent Mike 2Ks, Instagram, Silent Mike 2Ks, Twitter. Check it out. Before we even get started, give it a like for the information to come. Appreciate you guys. Let's see if we can get 3,000 likes. We start getting 3,000 likes. We start to push this good information out into the world, positivity out in the world. We all become successful. Here we go. I know you don't really lift all hyped up, but when you do, what do you listen to? So I like to listen to hip-hop, preferably, when I'm going for like a PR, getting really hyped up. But it's true, day-to-day in the gym, I like to think of it more as practice. I like to be calm. I like to think about my cues. And also I know that when, personally, I get turned up, as the kids say, I can really push myself and hit some PRs. So I know when the day-to-day, example, a couple hours ago I just squatted. Hopefully this footage is beautiful that you guys are staring at. I squatted 495 for 3. Didn't get hyped at all, and it was still pretty clean. So if I would have gotten, all hyped up and nuts, could have done 4, 5, 6, 7 reps with it. How do you incorporate cardio if you're a powerlifter? That's a great question. Depends on the main goal, I think, of the cardio. If the cardio is just for general health, or if the cardio is to actually drop fat or lose some weight, burn some calories. So my buddy, my friend, my pal, Omar Isaf just went over similar things, but low intensity cardio where you're kind of just cruising, whether you're walking or biking or jogging, which I actually just did, squatted with my boy Alan, ran to the commercial gym, hopped on a spin bike, and just cruised for about 25 minutes. Low intensity takes very little away from our stress battery, right? We talk about stress being, we have a full battery and everything we do takes away from it, whether it's lifting, a divorce, stress with money, stress with your dog shitting on your couch, whatever it may be. And low intensity takes very little out from your stress bank. But in my opinion, is maybe slightly less effective, and your body adapts to it quicker. Adapting to cardio is what you want, but it's hard to add more stimulus, right? So we squat 3 sets of 3, hopefully our body adapts, and then we can do 3 sets of 4 afterwards. When you're doing low intensity, your body adapts and becomes a more efficient machine at going for a walk, so you burn less calories. Burning less calories and becoming more efficient at it is great if you want to be a competitive walker, but if you're trying to get your cardiovascular up, then you're going to have to continue to add minutes to that. And if you want to burn more calories to lose weight, you're going to have to add more minutes to that to become more efficient, to burn more. So high intensity sprints takes a little bit more away from the stress bank that we have, but it's harder to adapt to. The more in shape you get with something like a prowler sprint, a bike sprint, a hill sprint, the more in shape you get, the more you can kind of redline. For example, you move certain speed pushing a prowler when you're out of shape. Even though you do 4 rounds, 20 seconds all out, you'll put more horsepower, more power, more force into the 4 rounds of 20 seconds as you get in more shape, thus burning more calories as you continue. It's more like lifting weights. You can put more into 315 bench press once you bench 405, rather than if 315 is your max. Hopefully some of that makes sense. So different applications for different people. If you're trying to lose weight, I know there's tons of questions about losing weight on here. I'd recommend a combination of both, depending on the goals. And also note that you can layer it in. You don't just all of a sudden have to do 5 days of cardio a week. You could do 1 high intensity day for a month, and then do 1 high intensity, 1 low intensity, and then you do 2 high intensity, 1 low intensity. Weeks and weeks, kind of periodizing, having a plan. If my program calls for 2 sets of deadlifts twice a week, and I want to work on conventional and sumo, would you do sumo one day and conventional the other, or would you do 1 working set of both on each deadlift day? If you have a program, I'd ask your coach. Your coach would know better than me because I can't see the program. I don't know you as an athlete, but just based on the facts that I have so far, I would do 1 conventional day and 1 sumo day. That's just how I personally would break it up. I think it makes more sense to really focus and hone that in. And then the closer you get to a meet, make both those days your stronger stance, working on that specificity. Would I get any benefits from training in both the O lifts and the P lifts? I think he's talking about weightlifting, the Olympic lifts, and power lifts. Do you think one would hold the other back? Going back to kind of our stress battery, all sports are specific. So although weightlifters do squat, that's an assistance exercise to up their clean and jerk and their snatch. And powerlifters typically don't clean and jerk and snatch because the movements are so different and because they're so submaximal to what we do. So I would honestly say, unless your goal is just to be generally a better athlete or generally more fit, or you just like lifting both styles, I would focus on one or the other that you want to excel at. Although there is some gray area, like some type of pull and some type of squat that may and actually will help both. Will you eat pizza rolls and play World of Warcraft with me? I don't know if this person's mocking me or if they're serious, but I've never played World of Warcraft, to be honestly. But I did play some StarCraft, and I'm not much of a pizza roll guy, but if you get some bagel bites in front of me, that shit's gone. So the answer is maybe a couple tweaks to your offer, and yes, I'm in. Sign me up. I do like video games. Don't play a ton of them anymore just because I don't know why, but I don't. But I play some. If you consistently trying to increase your weight, but it's not working, by the way, you're lit. Appreciate it. I think me being lit's good. I'm getting old these days. I know I got a dad hat and a cool beard, but I'm trying to keep hip with you kids. Can't increase your bench press. One, you need to check out my YouTube because we have tons of backlog videos on how to increase that. Two, you need to get a solid program. Just increasing the weight week to week won't work for many. That's what we just call linear loading or linear periodization. Doing 5 sets of 5 at 225 this week, and then doing 5 sets of 5 at 230 the next week, 5 sets of 5 at 235 the next week. This only works for at a beginning stage. What is a beginning stage? Depends on genetics, depends on the person, but a year or two, maybe 3 years. This doesn't work as you get more advanced, as you get stronger. So we need to focus on programming. We need to have enough calories. Got to make sure that nutrition's high. And then our technique. Every session, every minute, every rep, you want to focus on technique. Something to fix over time. So programming, again, as always, my program is available below. We do have some bench programs. We have some powerlifting programs. KaizenTraining.com. There's tons of different free ones out there, or hire a coach, depending on how serious you may be. How did you get so sexy? I don't know, man. Maybe I was born with it. These questions are kind of on point. I mentioned before there's dumb ones, but maybe they're on point. Would you consider squeezing cheese from a goat before it's hatched? Some kind of internet joke I don't understand. How do you breathe under a heavy weight when your rib cage feels like it's getting crushed? So, Valsalva maneuver, how to breathe, how to brace. Talked about this in many a video. Check back onto how to squat more or build your squat a couple of videos ago. But we want to breathe and brace into our stomach. Kind of think belly button, obliques, and low back. And pull that rib cage down and brace. We're trying to make kind of a hard ball can out of our midsection. If you have a belt, you can push into that belt and brace 360 around your core. You want to do that before you unrack a weight. And then walk your weight out. And as you're about to squat, you want to breathe in again and re-brace. You never want to exhale with heavy weight on your back. This will make your spine flimsy and increase the chance of injury. So breathing and bracing, it will take practice, but that is the idea that you're heading for. How was it working with Just Kidding Films? I've worked with Just Kidding Films a couple times. Obviously, Bart Quan is my homie, and the rest of the crew have turned into good homies. David So, Tiff, Gio. I hate Gio, but Gio. Joe and the rest of the crew. It's been a lot of fun. Every time I go on Just Kidding News, I always have a great time. It reminds me of podcasting, which I enjoy very much. Hopefully I get to go on again. Who knows? But we will see. What are your opinions on the 20-rep squat program? The 20-rep squat program, although I've never run it, I've breezed over it, looked over it a little bit. I think it's really good for increasing your 20-rep squat, or maybe some hypertrophy, or maybe some conditioning. If you want to increase your one rep max squat, I don't think it's the one for you. How do you come up with your current squat form? Good question. So coming up with current squat form is, I've been squatting for 8+ years, and it's just, as I mentioned before, every session, every block, every period, every phase of my training, I'm trying to constantly become more efficient. And so sometimes in your hunt for the perfect technique that works for you, it isn't always the style that you can lift the most amount of weight in. Although I may be able to lift a little bit more weight in kind of a hip dominant squat, my low back could not take the volume that I currently can handle. Right now I'm squatting 4 times a week and I'm pain free. The volume's probably doubled what I used to do, where back in the day I would squat more hip dominant, but my low back would take such a thrashing from the conventional pulls and my style of squat that I could only squat about 2 times a week, and I still ended up tweaking my back. So I came across this style just by trying different things. Yeah, try different things, stick with something, run it out. And when I say try different things, make small tweaks over 6, 8, 10 weeks. Don't just switch one thing for a day and say, oh, that didn't feel good, and then move on. You got to figure out and truly find what's best for you. Why is it that I eat about 2,000 calories and maintain, and eat maybe 2,400 calories and gain, even though I'm 190 pounds, train consistently, and those calories aren't that high at all? Anytime I'm dealing with anyone in their diet, I would say, how often have you actually stayed consistent with that tracking? You could say it's 2,000 calories, but if you've done 1,900, 2,200, 21, and you just kind of average it out, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about maybe 2 to 3 weeks. Weigh yourself every morning and track 2,000 calories consistently. And then if that's your maintenance, then I'd agree that's your maintenance. The actual answer to the question, why is that low or is that low? A lot of that has to do with genetics. You know, for me to maintain personally, I can handle a good amount of calories, and for me to gain, I can handle a ton of calories. But for me to cut, I have to be pretty strict and pretty drastic deficit. Just how my body works. My body wants to hold on to not only muscle but fat. Everyone's a little bit different. Some people struggle to gain weight and they have to eat an insane amount, and then they start eating 3,000 calories and they start losing weight like a maniac. So it is genetic dependent. The more muscle you gain over time, the more possible calories you will be able to eat, and then obviously activity is the other one. I have a pretty narrow stance when I squat. I get quad drive like crazy. I usually have some tenderness the knee after squatting, nothing bad. Is this something I should worry about? So this guy's got some knee tenderness after squatting. He squats pretty narrow. I'd say no one knows but you, man. A lot of these questions can't be answered other than the athlete themselves, and that's hopefully why we train for a long period of time and understand our own bodies. You have to be self-aware, not only in your mind, but also your body as an athlete to progress, in my opinion. So if you have a scale of 1 out of 10 pain, you're probably okay. If it starts to become a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 daily, then maybe you need to figure out the form or head to a physical therapist and check it out. I wish I had an exact answer without seeing it. It's hard to say. Some knee tenderness, I guess, is normal. Some low back, everyone says their low back is pumped or tight or sore after deadlifts. Kind of that's normal. We're trying to push our bodies and literally force them to grow. So something's going to feel a little bit different than if you're just sitting on the couch all the time. Stuff's not easy. That's just kind of how it goes. How to increase your bench press fast. Nothing happens fast. Nothing worthwhile happens after 12 p.m. and nothing worthwhile happens fast. Anything worthwhile to get very strong safely, to be able to maintain that strength over a long period of time, takes a while. Years, multiple years, decades. You can maybe get to a 315 bench in a month or two, but what are the chances that injuries also go through the roof? So it's kind of a give and take. My recommendation again, solid nutrition plan, calorie surplus, always focus on your technique, find a good program or a good coach to follow. Cut update and top tip for 20 to 25 year olds. Main goal for my cut update, plateaued. I'm dying. I think I talked about it a little bit, but I started to up the cardio a bunch. So hitting cardio 3 to 4 times a week right now. I'm feeling leaner, but the scale's not moving probably how it should. So calories are pretty strict, cardio is pretty strict, and it's just the next phase for me to get shredded, man. Just step by step. If this doesn't work, you got to troubleshoot, find something else. Top tip for 25-year-olds. I don't know, man. Chase your dreams, I guess. I don't know. I don't have that many tips because every 20 to 25-year-old I've ever met, including myself at that age and my friends, were at such different places in life. So in terms of training, find a good coach, find a program, worry about your calories, or worry about your technique. I mean, it's literally that simple. If you want to have a long career lifting and you want to get ultimately strong and maybe build the physique you want, it's all about staying injury-free, building muscle, and then building your technique over time. What types of cardio do you utilize, and how does it improve powerlifting game? Great question. So to go back to the best cardio for powerlifters, as I mentioned before, the cardio that I'm using right now is I'm doing sprints, high intensity interval training twice a week, and I'm also doing 2 low intensity training sessions a week. So the sprints are 4 to 5 rounds all out with some recovery in between. I'm using a spin bike right now because that's just what I like and it's accessible. And then the long intensity is just, or low intensity is just 25 to 35 minutes, just at a good pace, moving around, same pace, same everything on the bike again. So how does it improve your powerlifting game? I've gone over this a little bit in the past, but every sport has a basic level of fitness it needs. Something like a soccer player, that level is fairly high. They need to be able to run a very long time. They need to be able to sprint. They need to be able to change direction, let alone the specifics of the ball handling, shooting, passing, defense, etc. But just the fitness level, they need a long endurance cardio that they can maintain for whatever a soccer game is, 90 minutes. But then they also need to sprint burst in between, be powerful, change directions. A powerlifter is kind of on the opposite spectrum. All we really need to do is be able to recover from our training or our sets. So not to say no fitness, because you always want to be healthy. So a very minimum level of fitness is actually needed to be the best powerlifters, in my opinion. Is that the healthiest or the route you should go? Maybe not. But if you're talking about pure powerlifting, you need to be able to recover from your sets, set to set, day to day, and workouts week to week. Beyond that, you don't need that much cardio. But for general health, I do recommend cardio 1 to 3 times a week to keep a general baseline. If you're unhealthy, you may need to up that to 2 to 5 times to get that cardiovascular health back. The older we get, probably the better idea we could do a little more. I'm not 30 yet, but I know I'm going to get there. So I'm pushing it. What's your take on high intensity and low intensity cardio in terms of recovery in a cut? Already kind of went over that. High intensity, I think, has slightly more benefits. That's my personal experience and thought as a coach for not only athletes, but also physique, burning fat, etc. And it can kind of, I hate this word and I'm going to get roasted, but kind of transfer into powerlifting because it is explosive and it is kind of type 2 muscle fibers, but it takes more away from that stress bank. Low intensity can train your heart decently, burn some calories, takes very little low. So there's give and takes to both. Exercise to get the bar off the ground faster. I think we're talking deadlifts. I'm yet to film the video, but I've gotten this question a ton. We will do a video on how to get faster off the ground on the deadlift. We're almost done. We're pushing it, boys and girls. Hey, Mike, thoughts on doing singles in the off-season before volume work? This can work for many. So when we're talking programming, how much volume to do, how intense to go, which is another common question, is how much volume can I handle? It will all depend on the person. Some people can handle a ton of volume. So same with those singles. If your form is locked in, if your nutrition is locked in, your sleep is locked in, and you're recovering from the volume fine, adding some singles to replicate or remind yourself or to practice heavier singles, which a lot of people do, run the RPE system and other things. They'll work up to maybe an RPE 8, 9, single or double, and then back down sets 5x5, whatever it may be. I see nothing wrong with it. It works for many. I've been messing with it the last year or so for my personal self. I've used it with others, and it can definitely work. Just know that it's often best in a squat or bench because those lifts you can recover from quicker. The deadlift often takes the most out of people, not only the singles but the volume work, and then also the more efficient you are at a lift, the more likely you are to be able to handle that. How do you reduce butt wink in the squat? You check out my last video probably 3-4 months ago with Kelly Starrett. Check it out. I guys want you to, whatever question you may have, Google Silent Mike and then your question, and chances are it pops up. If not, hopefully we answer it in here. In the Kizen 12-week bench program, is it repeatable? I am done with the 12th week and I loved it. 20-pound PR. Congrats on the PR. I really appreciate all the support and the feedback we're getting with Kizen. Right now we have 3 or 4 programs available. We do have 2 to 3 that will be more available coming months, especially before the summer. So look out for that. But yes, it is repeatable. So depending on your goals, we have a 12-week bench program. The bench program, all these programs include like PDF and Excel. They explain exercise library, that explain the exercises and explain the program. With the 12-week bench program, it's a 3-day-a-week bench, 2-day-a-week squat and 1 day a week deadlift. It is a full program, and it kind of leads you up to a bench peak, so you can test at the end. Now, 12 weeks isn't that long, but if you're kind of an intermediate, testing every 12, 16 weeks, not a bad idea. I say a conservative test, meaning maybe leave some in the tank. If you hit all-out grinders every 3 months, you might get burnt out mentally and physically. But if you just hit conservative 5, 10, 15-pound PR, you should be good at the end. So you can repeat that. If the program worked, continue it. I mean, that's the ultimate thing. Whether it's Kaizen or your coach or another program, hey Mike, should I do this? Hey Mike, is this working? If you're making progress, you're having fun, and you're making progress, stick to it. There's no other way. There's nothing better in lifting than those two things. So beyond the 12-week program, we have a fat loss, maintain your strength program. It's about 1 to 2 times benching, 2 squats, 1 deadlift, plus a bunch of accessories and some cardio. We have a full video on nutrition, full videos on tutorials, exercise tutorials, as I mentioned. PDF, etc. That link will always be in the description if you guys are into it. Who are the best 5 greatest rappers of all time? Well, I guess you got like Reggie, Jay-Z, Tupac, and Biggie, Andre from Outkast, Jada Corrupt, Nas, and then me. Something like that. I don't know. Those are words from Eminem. All right, top 5 rappers all time. I mean, I don't know how you can't. It's just like basketball. You can't go into the different eras, because you can go back to Rakim and you can say like that dude's so revolutionary that he's the best. But Eminem, shit, man, I do like Redman and Method Man a lot. Method Man had a lot of flow. Biggie and Pac is kind of hard to vote against. I'm not a huge Snoop fan, to be honest. Nas used to really go in. It's too hard, all right? It's too hard. I'm trying.